If you have been looking for a stock Android experience on a budget, you might have come across the Xiaomi Mi A1. This phone was launched last year when Xiaomi joined hands with Google to deliver the stock Android experience on a budget. Now Xiaomi has gone ahead and launched the Xiaomi Redmi Note 5 Pro. This is a budget powerhouse which is priced at roughly the same price as the Mi A1. So now if you are in the market, which one should you pick? Well, we help you decide. Now before we go ahead, be sure to subscribe to the Gadgets360 YouTube channel and don't forget to click on the bell icon so that you're the first to know when we have a new video. The Xiaomi Mi A1 has a 5.5-inch display with the traditional 16:9 aspect ratio. The Redmi Note 5 Pro on the other hand looks more modern with the 18:9 aspect ratio. At the back, both phones have a dual camera setup. The A1 has a horizontal layout for its dual camera setup, whereas the Redmi Note 5 Pro has a vertical layout. Both phones have a camera bump. Also, both of them have a fingerprint scanner at the back which is quick to unlock the phones. The Redmi Note 5 Pro is marginally bigger than the Xiaomi Mi A1, but at the same time it packs in a much bigger display and a bigger battery. The placements for the button and the SIM tray slots are exactly the same. They also have an IR blaster on the top, whereas the difference is at the bottom. At the bottom, the Redmi Note 5 Pro has a micro USB port, whereas on the other hand, the Mi A1 has the more contemporary USB Type-C port. Both have the 3.5mm headphone socket at the bottom as well. Design-wise, both the phones are fairly similar, but it's the Redmi Note 5 Pro that stands out thanks to its bigger display. Both these phones take a different approach for photography. The Mi A1 consists of a dual 12-megapixel setup consisting of a normal lens and one telephoto lens, whereas the Redmi Note 5 Pro on the other hand uses a 12-megapixel sensor along with a 5-megapixel depth sensor which helps it click better portraits. Video recording capabilities are also different as the Mi A1 can record 4K videos, whereas the Redmi Note 5 Pro is limited to 1080p at the moment. Selfie setups are also different. On the Mi A1, you get a 5-megapixel selfie shooter, whereas on the Redmi Note 5 Pro, you get a 20-megapixel shooter along with a selfie flash. Photos clicked from the Xiaomi Mi A1 and the Redmi Note 5 Pro have good amount of detail, but we saw that the Mi A1 had a cooler tone while the Redmi Note 5 Pro had a slightly warmer tone, but the Mi A1 was closer to the actual scene. Macro shots are good on both, but it is the Mi A1 that gets better details which are visible when zooming in. Portrait shots are a little different. The Mi A1 uses the telephoto lens while the Redmi Note 5 Pro uses the regular 12-megapixel sensor. Mi A1 manages to get a natural shot while the Redmi Note 5 Pro tends to boost the reds. In low light, both smartphones manage to capture decent shots, but it is the Mi A1 yet again that gets the better shot while the Redmi Note 5 Pro tends to overexpose the scene in these conditions. Video recording maxes out at 1080p for the Redmi Note 5 Pro, while the Mi A1 can record at 4K resolution. The Redmi Note 5 Pro has EIS which helps reduce shakes while recording, while the Mi A1 lacks this feature, so you will need a steady hand when recording. Overall, the Mi A1 has the edge when it comes to the cameras. Internal hardware is where these phones differ the most. The Mi A1 is powered by the Snapdragon 625 processor and has 4GB of RAM and 64GB of internal storage. The Redmi Note 5 Pro on the other hand is powered by the Snapdragon 636 processor, which is significantly more powerful. It has two variants, one with 4GB of RAM and the other with 6GB of RAM, while storage remains the same at 64GB. Storage is expandable on both the phones using the hybrid SIM tray slot. In terms of software, Android purists will like the Xiaomi Mi A1. The device was launched on Android Nougat but has been updated to Android Oreo. On the other hand, the Redmi Note 5 Pro runs on Android Nougat with a layer of Xiaomi's custom MIUI 9 on top. Now those used to MIUI 9 will feel at home, while others may take some time getting used to. Now all those curious to know about Face Unlock, well, both the phones have Face Unlock feature. The Xiaomi Mi A1 uses the Smart Unlock feature that's built into Android, whereas the Redmi Note 5 Pro uses a custom feature by Xiaomi which helps it unlock the phone using your face. Battery sizes are different for the devices, and the Mi A1 sports a 3080 mAh battery while the Redmi Note 5 Pro has a bigger 4000 mAh battery. The difference is quite evident as in our HD video loop test, the Mi A1 managed 10 hours and 18 minutes, whereas the Redmi Note 5 Pro managed 16 hours and 36 minutes. While both the smartphones ship with 10-watt chargers in the box, it's the Redmi Note 5 Pro that has support for Qualcomm's Quick Charge 2.0, whereas the Mi A1's only advantage is the contemporary USB Type-C port. Now if you are stuck between the Mi A1 and the Redmi Note 5 Pro, here is what you need to know. If you want a phone with stock Android and good cameras, the Mi A1 should be your pick. But if you want powerful hardware and a big battery, then the Redmi Note 5 Pro is the one to buy. Thanks for watching. For more news, reviews and features, head straight to Gadgets360.com.